This is Jackie Helvey, and I'm here with Jacob. Jacob, what's your last name?
It's Nazarene. I've butchered it over the years myself.
And we are in Eflin, North Carolina, where he has a hemp farm, which is something that I have never seen. I've never actually been at a place where he grows hemp here, and the everything has changed in regard to hemp because in the United States for decades it was illegal to grow hemp, but now everything's different. And here you are, Jacob, and
Hello.
I was surprised to learn that you moved here from the rat race of New York City
Correct.
to become
Yeah.
a farmer. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I used to live in New York all my life, and if it wasn't for my wife, I would have probably still been there. So I got to thank her a lot for pushing me to come out here in North Carolina. We fell in love with it. We visited a couple of times in 2012, and we just loved the fact that it had tons of hiking trails. A little bit. It had a small town, a big town. It had everything we wanted in a state, and the hospitality of North Carolina. I was blown away by the people here. They were so courteous. It was a different experience. It took me a while to get used to people saying hi to me, random strangers.
Wow.
So it kind of grew on you too. You learn not to honk, which was a major thing here. Nobody honks, which is outstanding. I love the pace out here as well, and the diversity of people that I got to meet in North Carolina, which is amazing right now for me.
So how long have you all been here then?
We moved here, it was probably mid to late 2013. We moved here, and we lived in Chapel Hill for about a year while we were looking for property and land.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, Chapel Hill's been really good to us too. Yeah.
And well, what made you decide to get into farming?
When we moved here, I was already at that tipping point of leaving advertising, or staying, and I was at that crossroads, and I got a job at Smashing Boxes in Durham, which was a software development company, and it was in the tobacco campus, and the people there were phenomenal. I got to work there a little over a year and build great relationships there, and it kind of pushed me from there. I started thinking about it, so on the weekends I would hit up a bunch of farms and see who would take me, just to kind of get some understanding of what agriculture is. And I was lucky enough to find a person, David, at Diggett Farms. I was able to work there for a year on the weekends, and eventually I transitioned out of my job there and went straight into agriculture. And it was such a humbling experience for that first year, because it gave me a sense of how much work it took to grow vegetables,
Right.
and to process vegetables, and what it took to run a small business, and to understand the many hats it took to be able to run an operation. It was mind-blowing, from cold weather to heat, humidity. It was an amazing experience for me. And when you're in that position and you're going through all these different experiences, you're questioning, what am I doing here all the time? What am I doing here? Is this something that I want to do? And all you have to really do is stick with it, and your gut will tell you if this is right for you or not. And
Right.
I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and I've loved it. And I transitioned out of David's position, and I moved to another farm, which is actually 7 minutes away from here, and they're called Open Door Farm. Ross and Jillian. I got to work with them for 4 years, and I fell in love with their process of growing. And they were a young farm, so I got to see them make the mistakes, learn from it, stick to it, reconsolidate and redo it, and now they're killing it. They're such a great group of people, so I got to learn a lot from Ross and Jillian at their farm.
So now you're here and you're growing your hemp.
Correct.
Now, what do you do with the hemp?
So what I do with the hemp, so I started late 2018 to get my permit and my cultivation license, and So when I first started, I just did it in a 10 by 10 tent just to get an idea of how to grow, because I've never grown hemp before. I've grown vegetables on the farm, so a lot of people say it's very similar to tomatoes. So I try to take that knowledge and read a bunch of books, and luckily we have the internet, which gave us that great opportunity to learn as much as you can. There's tons of great growers on the West Coast, so I've been just kind of following them. So my main objective is to grow the hemp, make those mistakes with it, understand what I'm doing wrong, and kind of get better at it and make sure not to make those same mistakes. So what we do with the hemp is after it grows anywhere from 3 to 4 months, we end up drying and curing the hemp, and the drying process is just as important as the growing process, because all that hard work you've put into, you can completely mess it up if you don't dry it and cure it properly.
Right.
So you have to make sure you have the right humidity and temperatures to do that. My method, I love doing the slow and low method. Let it dry out long enough where you're pulling all that chlorophyll out of the plant, so you get a nice aromatic smell from it. And then I will cure the plant in mason jars. There's tons of different methods, but I like using the mason jar. And I end up curing the plant for another, it can be from 4 weeks to 8 weeks. I almost feel like the longer you can cure it, the better the smell gets over time.
Mm-hmm. And then from there, you make products out
Correct,
of it, right?
correct. So once you cure the products, and again, there's different methods of making products. I'm a beginner, so I'm doing the basics. So you can make topicals with it. We're currently doing topicals, teas. We're just doing flowers as well. We're selling currently, but we are also going to be doing tinctures. We're working on paint patches and roll-ons as well. So the process of making a topical is you'll take a X amount of flour, you let it sit in food grade alcohol, and it can be, you want to do this in a really cold temperature, because you want to get all the chlorophyll not to go into the alcohol. So the colder the temperature, the easier it'll be to pull all the beneficial cannabinoids and terpenes out of the plant into the alcohol.
So there's a lot of chemistry involved
There's
in this.
tons of chemistry. There's so many levels to this, and there's so much to learn. And as a small business, again, you have to wear so many hats to do this and understand and learn as quick as you can, but do it the right way as well. So yeah, there's a lot of different methods to it. So yeah, so once it sits in alcohol, you transfer that to a distiller. And what the distiller does, it heats up to anywhere from 220 degrees for a few hours, and you extract the alcohol out of it, and you can reuse that alcohol for a later time. And what you're left at the bottom of the distiller is this really thick, crude oil. And then after that oil's in there, there's still a little bit of alcohol left, so it's important to purge the excess alcohol out of it. Because you are dealing with the 200 proof, you want to make sure all of that alcohol is out of there before the consumer uses it.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're left with the alcohol, you can take it to the lab, get the numbers you need to know exactly how much to put in each topical. So, and then we make our topicals with avocado oil, shea butter, we use white beeswax, and then we use anti-inflammatory properties of other herbs into our topicals. So we'll use burdock, we'll use sarsaparilla, we'll use chickweed. We have a number of different things we put in there. We infuse that in the oil, and we let that sit for 12 hours. Then we'll strain all the particulates out, and then we'll infuse that with the thick oil from the hemp plant into it. And that's how we basically make our topicals. It's a long process, and people always ask, why is it so expensive? As a small business, the amount of time you spend on something, it's important that you have enough capital coming in that you can continue making these and learning. And eventually, when you grow big enough, you can consolidate and streamline your process so you can actually do it much more efficiently and affordably for not only you but also the customer at the end of
Right.
the day.
And you're still in the very beginning stages,
Absolutely,
really.
absolutely. I'm taking it. I'm taking my time. I'm not having my expectations really high. I have to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly before I can get to that next level. Because
Right.
again, there's so many steps to it. To this, realistically, I don't think I'm going to be profitable or successful at what I'm doing for another 5 years. That is a realistic thing. I've given myself that goal to build what I need to build, to find funding, which is another major thing because it is a very risky business to get into, and a lot of people do not want to put their money into it, and I completely understand. But yeah, that's the goal: finding grants and capital, keep growing at it, and keep producing and learning from it.
Is there more than one growing season for you?
Currently, if you can probably get 2 cycles of grow in the year, so you can kind of stagnate it. You can start one really early in the beginning of the year. I would say mid-March is a good time. You'll get a grow within March, April, May. You can definitely do another planting. So you can
So
get
it's
pretty
kind of
much
like vegetables.
it is completely like vegetables, but they love the heat, and currently they like the heat. But fall is a good time once they go into flower because the denser the flower can be, the quality is going to be, I think personally, better overall.
Right.
And then you can do indoor growing, or you can go buy the two by building a greenhouse and having supplementary lighting. So you can take advantage during the cooler weather.
Yeah. Do you think you'll do that eventually?
Absolutely, that's the goal. Transition from indoor to actually doing greenhouse growing. That's the ultimate goal. Yeah.
Right. So if people want to find your products, where do you sell your stuff?
So this is the first year we're actually trying to get our stuff into wholesale. So the most amazing thing is selling our products in the farmers market. And this is our first year selling it at the Eno Rivers Farmers Market. And they're a great group of people. I got to meet so many interesting people, from shop owners that are interested in buying our products wholesale, which is a great thing. So this is the first year we're actually bringing our products out to the consumer. But basically, it's been pretty much word of mouth and through the website.
Yeah. Tell people your website address.
It is greenvelvetgrove.com.
Well, that's fantastic. It's been great talking to you, and I've learned so much from you.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
continued success.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.